Rumpelstiltskin, The Power of Names, Deals, and Word Binding. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is the Symbolism series. You're watching the Redacted Magic and the Fairy Tale Code subseries. Today's case study, Rumpelstiltskin. At first glance, it seems like a story about a strange little man and a desperate girl who makes a deal she doesn't understand. But this is not a tale about greed or riddles. It's a highly coded warning about magical contracts, the spiritual mechanics of naming, word binding, and the consequences of speaking carelessly. This is The Power of Names, Deals, and Word Binding. The story of Rumpelstiltskin is one of the oldest and most explicitly magical tales in the European folklore canon. It survives in dozens of languages and traditions, including versions in German, Irish, Eastern European, and Jewish mysticism. The version we know best comes from the Brothers Grimm, published in the early 1800s. But the symbolic content is far older, rooted in oral tradition that understood names as power, words as spells, and deals as contracts with energetic consequence. Let's walk through the plot. A poor miller, in an attempt to appear important, lies to a king and says his daughter can spin straw into gold. The king, greedy for wealth, locks the girl in a room full of straw and demands she spin it into gold by morning, or die. She is visited by a strange little man who offers to help in exchange for something of value: her necklace, then her ring, and finally, her firstborn child. She agrees to the last deal in desperation. The task is completed, and she eventually marries the king. When her child is born, the little man returns to collect. She pleads. He offers a chance to break the contract. If she can guess his name, she can keep her child. After days of failure, she overhears him gloating in the forest, saying his name aloud: Rumpelstiltskin. She says the name. The contract breaks. He vanishes in rage. Now let's decode. This story is structured as a magical contract cycle. It involves 3 key elements. 1. An impossible task. 2. A bargain made under pressure. And 3. The reversal of that bargain through naming. These 3 stages are found in countless occult systems, especially those involving jinn, fairies, demons, or spirits. And at the heart of it is a law. To name something is to bind it. Let's begin with the lie. The miller lies to the king. He claims his daughter can spin straw into gold. Straw, in symbolic terms, is the lowest value agricultural material. It is dry, empty, discarded. Gold is the highest. To claim one can turn straw into gold is to claim mastery of alchemy, transmuting the worthless into the sacred. The king, representing institutional greed, doesn't question the logic. He acts. And the girl is trapped. But here's what matters. She didn't make the claim. Her father did. She is punished for another's words. This encodes a common magical pattern: inherited contracts. In spiritual systems, one can suffer under a deal they didn't make, if made in their name. This is ancestral binding. The girl is placed under duress not because of her own magic, but because her name was used as collateral. Now comes the dealmaker, Rumpelstiltskin. He arrives in secrecy. He appears when no one else can help. This is not coincidence. It's magical law. In occult narratives, helpers who appear during duress are rarely neutral. They are entities bound to bargain. In this case, Rumpelstiltskin asks for escalating items of value. First, a necklace. Then, a ring. Finally, a child. This escalation is key. The first 2 items, jewelry, represent energetic accessories. The necklace, throat, relates to voice and speech. The ring, hand, relates to action and bond. By giving up these objects, the girl is surrendering pieces of her spiritual agency. Only after her voice and action are symbolically taken does she offer what remains: creation itself, her child. Let's pause here. In all magical systems, to offer your child, whether literal or symbolic, is to surrender future generative power. The child represents creation, legacy, the next wave of energy. To give that away, even in exchange for survival, is to enter a long-term energetic contract. But why does Rumpelstiltskin want the child? This is never explained directly. But if we analyze the pattern, it's clear. He is an energy parasite. He doesn't want the girl. He wants what she produces. In magical law, there are entities that cannot create. They must harvest. The child is not just a baby. It is potential made manifest. Rumpelstiltskin facilitates transformation, straw to gold, only to demand the result of that transformation: the child. This is transactional sorcery. Help in exchange for your harvest. Now consider how she tries to escape. Once the child is born, the girl, now a queen, refuses to give him up. She pleads. He offers a new deal. If she can guess his name within 3 days, he will void the contract. This is the central spell mechanic of the story. In magical systems around the world, naming is power. In Kabbalah, the secret names of God are said to control reality. In ancient Egypt, to know the secret name of a deity was to command them. In fairy lore, many beings are bound by name. If you know it, you can banish, bind, or release them. Why? Because names carry frequency signatures. They are not just labels, they are energetic codes. A hidden name is a hidden frequency. If you know the true name of a thing, you gain control over its vibration. In Rumpelstiltskin's case, he only operates safely because his name is unknown. It is his cloak. The queen fails for 2 days. On the third, she overhears him dancing in the forest, gloating, "Tonight, tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, tomorrow, the baby I take. The queen will never win the game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name." She hears it. She returns. She speaks the name aloud. He loses. Let's break down what just happened. Rumpelstiltskin speaks his own name aloud, voluntarily, because of hubris. This is not random. It reflects another magical law. All contracts contain a point of vulnerability. Even the most binding pact has a loophole. And often, it is the being's own need to be seen, validated, or victorious that leads them to reveal their edge. When the queen says the name, she doesn't just end the deal. She collapses his field. He vanishes, shouts, or, depending on the version, tears himself in half. In energetic terms, she did not kill him. She canceled his access. Saying the true name is a sovereign act. It declares, "I see you. I know what you are. And I revoke consent." That is why this story exists. It's not a fairy tale. It's a magical instruction on how spoken agreement, energetic naming, and contractual traps work. Let's review the embedded magical structures. Inherited lies create contracts that bind descendants. Impossible tasks attract spiritual opportunists. Transactions made in duress are still binding under magical law. Spinning straw into gold symbolizes energetic transmutation under pressure. Gifts exchanged for help are not gifts, they're covenants. The child represents future power. The true name is the key to voiding a pact. Spoken words are binding tools, but also reversal tools. In today's world, people still sign contracts without reading them. Still speak affirmations they don't understand. Still invoke energy without understanding the terms. Rumpelstiltskin warns, every word is a spell. Every agreement, spoken or written, is a magical act. You can bind yourself without knowing. You can lose your future by bargaining with your present. This tale also warns about desperation magic, the kind that solves a crisis at the cost of your freedom. That's what the girl does. She trades what she doesn't yet value, a future child, for what she needs right now, survival. That's not moral failure. It's energetic short-termism, and it's everywhere. Contracts made under pressure often seem harmless, but in the spiritual realm, intent is only part of the equation. Words carry weight, and only through reclamation, naming the force, seeing the structure, can you undo the damage. That's the real purpose of the tale. Rumpelstiltskin is not about trickery, it's about spiritual literacy. It teaches children that language is law, that secrecy is strength, that knowing what something is, truly, is the only way to break the spell, and that the most dangerous deals are the ones you didn't realize you made. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas. 11 times published author and School of Soul has just released one of our most requested deep dives, the Magic and Occult series. This series is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who know there's more going on beneath the surface, behind the media, behind the family, behind the system. This series breaks the spell and hands you the map. The Magic and Occult series includes over 200 videos on 1. Entertainment or ritual. Decoding mainstream media as mass spellwork. 2. Occult families. Spot them. How generational magic and ritual lineage hides in plain sight. 3. Occult symbolism. The signs, seals, and signals used to claim, curse, or command. 4. Esoteric symbolism. Layered meaning, sacred geometry, and encoded messages. 5. Law is magic. How contracts, courts, and language are rituals of power. 6. Spells and spirits. What magic really is, and what happens when you use it. 7. Covens and lodges. Where modern ritual happens, and who's involved. 8. Destiny swapping. How rituals steal timelines, talent, or soul contracts. 9. Energy harvesting. Spiritual parasitism, and how to seal your field. 10. The clairs. Your intuitive senses. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and more. 11. Become magical. How to strengthen your gifts, protect your mind, and wield conscious force. 12. Miracles are real, divine intervention, faith portals, and supernatural reversals. 13. The chosen ones. What sets them apart and why they're always targeted. 14. The black sheep, the generational breaker, often isolated by design. 15. Targeted individuals, spiritual and technological targeting of aware souls. 16. Gang stalking, organized spiritual and psychological warfare. This is the most revealing, most spiritually advanced, and most protective series SOS has ever released. If you've ever felt something was off about this world, this will confirm it, and prepare you for what comes next. Your protection begins with knowledge. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault.